They followed Cap to the elevator and up to the central control room, where Hulk was studying giant video screens that displayed real-time pictures of various parts of Battleworld. In one of them, Ben saw Galactus on top of a mountain.
Galactus is giving off a strange field of energy, but I still can't identify it.
The next screen was filled with what looked like a powerful storm.
Judging from what Dr. Banner and I found out using these sensor screens, we're gonna have our hands full right here, and soon.
Magneto knew better than to free the Wasp the moment he returned to his base. She would attack with all the fury of her namesake insect, and he would be forced to respond in kind. It was not how he wished their initial interaction to unfold. So instead, he left her safe and secure in the sphere he had created, and he watched the storm. He had never seen anything like it. The rain by itself would have pulverized many structures on Earth. The winds would have torn them off their foundations. It was a marvel, surely surpassing anything Aurora Monroe had ever summoned, unless it was she creating it now, or Thor. Magneto thought that unlikely. Thor would only exert his powers in battle, and even if such a storm were Aurora's fondest wish, she would never endanger her comrades to bring it about. Although, perhaps even she was vulnerable to the blandishments of the Beyonder. So too was Magneto himself, of course. He had not realized his loneliness. He had initiated the skirmish with the heroes in an attempt to keep them out of his way, but instead, Battleworld had presented him with an unforeseen opportunity. He realized now that his sudden decision to capture Wasp had been more wish fulfillment than strategic abduction. One of the things he wished for was a companion, and Battleworld, knowing his desires more keenly than himself, had given him the chance to acquire one. She had given him a signal earlier. He was certain of that. When the others had been turning on him, Janet Van Dyne had stepped in and diffused the tension. Perhaps Battleworld had been speaking through her. Or perhaps it was Battleworld that had attuned him to what she was saying. In either case, now that he had watched the storm for some time, he supposed he had better attend to her. As he prepared, Magneto devoted a small portion of his powers to gently levitating the metal sphere across the room. Miss Van Dyne resumed her normal size.
Ah, good evening.
He had chosen to meet her while reclining, with his helmet off and a drink in his hand. The removal of the helmet, which protected him from telepathic and psionic attacks, was a security risk, but not a large one. Magneto had noted the absence of any X-Men in the response to his gambit. From this, he deduced that they were occupied with issues of their own.
Do you prefer to be called Wasp? If so, kindly do not attempt to sting me. You will find my person is magnetically shielded, and your stinger's energy will be dissipated with no harm to either of us.
I don't care what you call me, and if you think I have to sting you directly to hurt you, you haven't been paying attention.
She blasted his drink out of his hand.
I can bring this whole room down on your head if I want to.
That would make us both quite uncomfortable, given the current weather situation. Since neither of us can leave, I suggest a truce. I would like to talk. That is why I brought you here.
Yeah? You have a pretty pushy way of arranging a conversation. But all right, we're here, and you're right. We can't go anywhere. Talk.
First, I apologize for the method of your conveyance here. I wished you neither harm nor humiliation. If I caused either, it is to my sorrow. You are obviously a woman of intelligence and understanding, as well as great beauty. And I am not the monster you seem to think I am, which is precisely what I wish to discuss.
My intelligence and beauty? Or you not being a murderer?
Why, both.
I've had a lot of men, and a number of women, put the moves on me. But this is the strangest first date I've ever been on.
So it's a date.
He gestured at a table on the far side of the room, where he had placed an open bottle of wine and an empty glass. She frowned at him. But after a moment, she shrugged.
Sure, why not?
She poured herself a glass.
You went to all the trouble to bring me here. Least I can do is have a drink, before I inevitably disappoint you.
Superb. A drink and conversation. Inevitable disappointment, however, I think is unlikely. Battleworld seems constructed along quite opposite lines.
He smiled at her, and she smiled back. For the moment, that was enough.